Hello everyone. Alright, so welcome to the stream. I'm going to be backtesting NASDAQ first, the beginning of June, Monday, June 2nd, all the way to current day. The way this is going to work is I'm going to look for my model in this plan. So we can go over the plan really quickly. And then I'll also be going over the journal real quick, how the journal locking is going to work. So I'll create a new trade, and then I'm not going to fill in all these. I'm just going to put the screenshots mainly and then a couple of the prices. So now I'll do the rest on my own later, but that way it's not going to hold up the stream. But let me go over the trading plan first. This is the first thing I'm going to start with. I'm not going to go over in depth in case more people join in later, but the main differences between what I have been trading for most of the year this year and this is the restrictions on what say the day is supposed to say the session until so yeah, this is basically if I'm in the afternoon session, I can't trade until all FOMC news comes out. That's what I'm saying here. Then there's holidays, I can't trade, and of course if I'm in a poor mental state, I cannot trade. The thing I added here was the bias. This is what I added to the plan from the beginning of the year, and this will start from a 4-hour chart, we'll drop down to the hourly and 50-minute, and we'll use these three charts as our higher time frame charts. We don't have to use all three together, but these are going to be the higher time frame we're going to refer to. A lot of people might have told me I can use the daily, whatever. I'm more of a scalper, and I like to time smaller movements in lower time frames. So I'm going to use these time frames. Is what I'm comfortable with. One big thing is the market maker buy or sell model. So I mark PD arrays in the second leg and inverse of the first leg of a market maker X model. So that way I don't pick tops and bottoms, and I try and basically trade the continuations, the second stage, the market maker buy or sell models. Then I start the execution process when one of these levels gets hit. The execution process is very simple. I use the 830 and the midnight open to filter where I'm entering, and then I apologize by the way if the stream has a very low latency. It is possible. Yeah, so I need a 15-minute sweep if I'm using a 4-hour chart, and I need a 5-minute sweep if I'm using a 15-hourly chart, and then 5-minute and 1-minute entry. So it goes 4-hour, 15-minute, 5-minute, or 1-hour, 15-minute to 5-minute to 1-minute. That's how that works. And then fair value gap and inverse fair value gap is what I need to answer. This one is I'll either do either or wait for both. And sometimes we might not have both, but I prefer the inverse fair value gap. Then there's the responsibilities, risk parameters. These things are honestly, this is honestly up to you. It should be 5%. There you go. And this is a session. So that's how that works. These are very important to read. I would recommend everybody to read these and to honestly write them and have them on your desk. These are very valuable principles to have. And then this is an example of market maker my model. So what I try and trade is that second blue box on the way up, and on the way down the second blue box continuations, not the initial moves, the reversals at the very top. So that's what I'm trying to trade when I'm in here looking for my trade. Anyways, let me now get that away. I very quickly went over it. Let me start journaling. So first thing I'll do is I'll start on the 4-hour chart, and also we'll clear everything. I'm also gonna draw all the lines out. I like to do this personally. It helps me kind of break down price a little easier. So it's just easier on my eyes, but I like to break down the days so that I can just see it better. The goal of the backtesting session will be to kind of go back through the month. I know there's a lot of mistakes that I made, a lot of faulty trades, and I want to compare the trades I'm going to take here to my actual data that I have of the trades I took. And then I want to compare the two and see what's up, you know, like if I'm still making some mistakes, if I still need to watch out for certain things. So without further ado, let me get into it. For our chart, if you read the bias part, we're obviously in a downtrend. We're closing beneath up close swings. So we had a swing up here, an up close swing, but we did not close above the downswing. So we're still basically retracing inside this downswing. We've opened lower, so I'm only really looking to be bearish. But immediately off this time frame, there's no fair value gap or order block on the 4-hour chart that I can use that price traded into, at least for the 3 a.m. hour, to then go down a 50-minute chart and look for a sweep. So down to the hourly chart. I should probably try and hurry, kind of speed through this. So if it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, then that might be a case. But I'm trying to speed up. On the hourly chart, we closed above this swing down 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock. That swing right here. Therefore, I am bullish on, we close above that open. So I'm bullish for the hourly chart, and I can look for supporting PD arrays like this fair value gap. We filled the whole thing, so just gonna check the 15-minute. In 15-minute, I see another close above swing lower, but also this made an order block. So there's a 15-minute order block. So now I've refined my entry. So there's a higher time frame point of interest on the 15-minute with the order block, and there's also on the hourly chart a higher time frame point of interest for that fair value gap. Now I can go down to the 5-minute chart, and I'm really just waiting for a nice sweep. I don't see anything right now. This is a sweep right here. So that could be within that 215 candle, could have been a 1-minute entry, but I don't trade until 3 a.m. so I would need to wait for another sweep like that. And another thing I forgot to do is mark midnight open. We're gonna use this one. There you go, midnight open's marked. So okay. You see the hourly chart retraced into a fair value gap up here. There's a volume imbalance with a fair value gap. However, I wouldn't be considering this because, and normally this looks really nice, but because we're still inside this swing from Friday, I wouldn't really be wanting to see that all too much work out. But it does come up to it nicely. Another thing too is how this up close candle is now a bearish order block. That's another thing I'm watching right now. Because if we had came down here and then left a long wick and closed back up here, I'd be bullish. But the fact that we closed all the way down here, if we were gonna wick away from this order block and then keep going lower, then that's what I would want, to then go down to 5-minute chart and look for a trade. I would need to see if I miss swing. Anyway, we're hitting the midnight open, so we've drawn to that level. I don't know why it's so slow. Jesus, yeah, it's not really looking too good. I mean, there isn't really a nice sweep because we've swept up here at 10 for 10, but look how close it came to the highs. It really just looks like it's ranging. I apologize for the connection, it's not that great. Alright, 9:30 opens up there, but let's try the same thing again now from also using the 8:30 open. Wait. There is an order block here. So actually we can refine that to, and then see, I guess we have a 5-minute sweep, but that doesn't look, I like the wick though. So I would look for a 5-minute entry and inverse fair value gap, or a fair value gap to be created. I could go long. Let's just say we go long right here, or down here. Yeah. What the heck? It's delayed. I can't go. So that's the first win there. Let me highlight that. Alright, let me go over the stop. You do have a fair value gap to go at 370.75. We create an inverse fair value gap. A fair value gap is also visible in the blue lines. And then I can go long on any of them. 3R. It's not bad. So I'm gonna journal this real quick. No. There you go. So, just gonna put this in the screenshots. Here's a 50-minute chart. The only thing with this trade is we didn't really close above this swing, so we did open up, we made up close candle, we did open up and made a new low of the weekend and close above that. So you can decide that if you want to use this low or that low as the low of the swing that made the draw on liquidity. And let me just see though if I had used the hourly, which is fine. I've been an hourly order block or fair value gap. It's a little slow. I don't know, whatever, it's fine. Let's just journal this.